Hello there, you're now with me, Douglas Elliott, for TVS News at 5. Let's begin with our top stories. Bank Negara Malaysia BNM has increased the overnight policy rate OPR by 25 basis points to 2.25% following its fourth Monetary Policy Committee meeting this year. In a statement, Bank Negara said the ceiling and floor rates of the corridor of the OPR are correspondingly increased to 2.5% and 2% respectively. The central bank said the reopening of the global economy and the improvement in labor market conditions continue to support the recovery of economic activity. Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, is currently in Singapore for a 5-day official visit to the Republic. The visit serves to study the process that will lead to the establishment of Sarawak's very own sovereign wealth fund. Abang Johari led the Sarawak delegation comprising Deputy Premiers Dato' Amar Douglas Uga Embas and Dato' Amar Awang Tengah Ali Hassan.
Early this morning, the delegation met with officials of the Government of Singapore Investment Corporation (GIC), one of the 3 investment entities in Singapore that manage the government's reserves. GIC was established in 2001 to manage Singapore's reserves for long-term returns as the world's first non-commodity-based sovereign wealth fund. The Premier has indicated that the ordinance for setting up and governing the proposed Sarawak's Sovereign Wealth Fund will be tabled in the State Legislative Assembly (DUN) in November and is expected to come into operation in 2024. Earlier, in May this year, the Premier made a similar visit to Norway to study the operation and governance of Norway's Sovereign Wealth Fund. During the current trip, Abang Johari is also set to call on the Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Finance Lawrence Wong, as well as other senior ministers, including the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan. Abang Johari is scheduled to return on July 9th.
Tanjung Manis will play a vital role in Sarawak's food security ecosystem as tensions over the price of goods are growing by the day. Held as one of the biggest halal hubs in Malaysia, Tanjung Manis will be focusing on several food items such as pineapples, bananas and various fishery products, so that Sarawak is able to sustain itself as soon as possible in the event of an unforeseen food crisis.
Food security is actually is the most important issue that we need to address at, and how did we translate, how did we want to mitigate and implement these things so that it would not be what you call it, a continuous problem we have to raise every now and then. Rice, I mean, we only about 70 to 60% reliant on rice. The Thai or the Vietnamese stop exporting, then we have problem. Same with animal feeds, which is a big problem. So it is a real problem that we need to address in the long run.
Talib spoke during a press conference after gracing the launching ceremony of the Tanjung Manis Master Plan Lab Series 3 held at Waterfront Kuching on Wednesday, July 6. Other locations identified to be part of the food security ecosystem are the hinterlands of Tanjung Manis, including Serikai, an area known to be Sarawak's fruit basket, and Muka. In order to address the problem holistically, Talib said his ministry will collaborate not only with the Agriculture Department but with other key industry players to further develop Tanjung Manis into a bustling town.
Jadi, mun kita nak maju, everybody must play their role. Kita hanya 3 matlamat kita tadi lah. Economic prosperity, social inclusivity, dan environmental sustainability. Ya aja. So how we reach there is every one of you has play a role. Jangan mentingkan your own departmental pun interest.
The master plan for the Tanjung Manis Economic Growth Area, or TMEGA, will be completed by the end of August. It is currently being reviewed by several ministries and agencies in a 3-day workshop before being scrutinized by the board members of Sarawak Industry Development Corporation, or Pusaka, and then later to the State Planning Authority for approval.
Deputy Minister of Natural Resources and Urban Development, Datu Len Talif, the approved and updated TMEGA Master Plan will serve as a guide for complementary development efforts by various agencies within TMEGA, which resonates with the overall infrastructure development plan made by the Rajang Delta Development Agency, RADA, and the state government.
Under the 1.5 billion allocation for each of the agency, there is no time base. What do you mean? It's not based on calendar year. It's based on project. So, bagaimana kalau project itu mengambil masa 3 tahun, ataupun 1.5 billion already being exhausted in matter of say less than 2 or 3 years, mungkin insyaAllah masih dapat ditambahkan. Dalam itu kita merangkakan apakah projek yang diutamakan untuk tiap-tiap dun dan tiap-tiap parlimen, dan apakah impact kepada masyarakat setempat. So at the end of the day, it is people that we're going to benefit from this.
At the same time, Talif expressed concern over the relatively short time frame given to review the TMEGA Master Plan.
Walaupun kita sudah identify seperti yang telah saya tekankan tadi, while they look at Tanjung Manis as an area, but you have to really look at an overall hinterland of Tanjung Manis because it has a connection, interconnectivity in terms of the one. So macam yang telah saya katakan tadi, kalau manufacturing is never be done, some of the manufacturing lah. Mungkin kalau mereka nak membangunkan atau mendirikan surami, for example, fish base, mungkin di situ. Tapi yang ada livestock, mungkin they can do in Julau, mungkin they can do in Pakar dan sebagainya. So all of these things need to be looked at. This is part of the workshop.
Talif hopes participants will be able to develop agri-solution to solve major issues that are currently faced in Tanjung Manis. And these steps would work hand in hand with Sarawak's post-COVID-19 development strategy, PCDS 2030.
Cebu's ambitious master redevelopment plan to transform the division and solve the perennial flood woes will be finalized in the near future. Bukit Asek Assemblyman Joseph Chiang said the detailed arrangement would be announced officially by the Premier, Dato' Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. Dubbed another Amsterdam by the Premier, the mega project will be divided into several phases due to the challenges posed by Cebu's soil structure.
According to Chiang, in addition to solving the flood situation, the project will also have an economic ripple effect that will solve the issue of retaining local skilled talents.
If this redevelopment plan is going on, which means that we need more skillful, personnel to combat. We need more engineer. We need more labor. We need all different kind of specialties, right, to combat and contribute with young engineers and so on. So hopefully with this, that we will be able to combat more our local boys. Can be able to combat and serve to their hometown.
Last week, Abang Johari announced plans by the state government to transform the flood-prone city into a commercially viable and investable area.
In global updates, the suspect accused of shooting a crowd of people watching a July 4th parade in Highland Park, Illinois, was charged with 7 counts of murder on Tuesday. If convicted, 21-year-old suspect Robert Cremo III would face a maximum sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. The prosecutor said the first-degree murder charges were to be followed by dozens of additional charges before the investigation is over, and that he would ask that Cremo remain held in custody without bail at the suspect's first court appearance on Wednesday.
Our community. These are just the first of many charges that will be filed against Mr. Cremo. I want to emphasize that. There will be more charges. We anticipate dozens of more charges centering around each of the victims.
Authorities said Crimo had planned the attack for weeks and had come to authorities' attention at least twice before on reports that he had threatened suicide or harm to others. Authorities reported the suspect fired more than 70 rounds from a rooftop at random onto people and then made his getaway dressed in a disguise to blend in with the crowd. Earlier, officials said the suspect had bought his rifle legally. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has appointed his Chief of Staff Steve Barclay as his next Health Minister and Nadhim Zahawi as the new Finance Minister. This comes after two of his senior ministers, Sajid Javid and Rishi Sunak, resigned on Tuesday. Both Health Minister Sajid Javid and Finance Minister Rishi Sunak resigned in what appeared to be a choreographed move, in which both took aim at Johnson's ability to run an administration. The resignations came as Johnson was apologizing for what he said was a mistake, for not realizing that a former minister in charge of pastoral care was unsuitable for a job in government after complaints of sexual misconduct were made against him. Both had formerly publicly supported Johnson during months of scandal over his administration's conduct and parties at Downing Street that broke strict COVID-19 lockdown rules. Javid became Britain's health minister in July 2021, replacing Matt Hancock, who stepped down after he was caught breaking COVID-19 rules. An outbreak of foot and mouth disease in Indonesia threatens to disrupt a ritual of slaughtering livestock to mark the festival of Idul Adha this year, with livestock traders in the world's largest Muslim-populated nation facing low sales.
Ahead of the Eid al-Adha festival in Indonesia, an agricultural official at a cattle farm opens the mouth of a cow, inspecting it carefully for signs of foot and mouth disease, FMD, which the Southeast Asian nation had been free of from 1986 until May this year. Although the spirit to celebrate the festival is high, cattle seller Muhammad Hussein Albana said the disease have caused concerns among his buyers.
Kalau minat pekurban sih kayaknya nggak berkurang ya. Minat pekurban nggak berkurang. Paling ya khawatir dampak kesehatannya aja. Ini semua peternak, semua pedagang sapi ngerasain lah kekhawatiran itu.
Jamal Lulay, a livestock trader in West Java, said he had only sold 50 cows this year compared to 330 before the pandemic.
Tahun ini yang kita alami yang tidak rezeki yang terburuk lah boleh dibilang seperti itu. Jadi proyeksi aja pada masa sebelum COVID itu penjualan kita itu mampu mencapai sekitar 330 ekor. Terus setelah COVID memang di mana-mana terjadi penurunan di angka 170 ekor sekian. Kemudian tahun kemarin 2021 di angka sekitar 220 ekor seperti itu. Dan tahun ini ya sangat menurun sekali gitu. Salah satu yang penunjang akibat turunnya penjualan sapi kurban itu memang karena wabah PMK. Mungkin kalau saya lihat itu dari masyarakat sekitar itu masih khawatir gitu loh untuk aman atau tidaknya PMK ini dikonsumsi oleh masyarakat. Tapi faktor yang kedua memang dari semenjak beberapa bulan terakhir ini, sekitar 4 atau 5 bulan terakhir ini memang harga sapi sendiri sudah mengalami kenaikan.
Demand has also been hampered by an increase in prices, with cattle costing an average of 21 million rupiah, or 6,191 ringgit, up from 17.5 million rupiah, or 5,159 ringgit last year, according to sellers. Indonesia has launched a nationwide livestock vaccination program in an attempt to curb the outbreak that began this May. According to Agriculture Ministry data, more than 317,000 animals have been infected in 21 Indonesian provinces, largely on the most populated islands of Java and Bali, with more than 3,400 animals culled.
And that is the quarter-hour update on TVS News at 5. I'm Doug Elliott. Thank you for watching.